Hello and welcome to Sports Today. Obviously, today, as we have said earlier as well, and I've tweeted yesterday also, I said on the show that it will be a Ravi Shastri special. Firstly, wishing Ravi, had a chat with him in the morning, wishing Ravi a very happy birthday, a safe birthday, a healthy birthday. And obviously, the best gift that will possibly be given to himself and to the country will be the WTC final trophy. What Ravi said, उन्होंने आज सवेरे मुझे कहा कि नेक्स्ट 6 महीना इंडियन क्रिकेट के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है. एब्सोल्युटली. पहले वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप, उसके बाद 3 महीना इंग्लैंड सीरीज, उसके बाद वर्ल्ड कप ऑन इंडियन सॉइल. अगर इंडिया में नहीं होता है तो यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट्स, द T20 वर्ल्ड कप. सो ये जो नेक्स्ट 6 महीना है ये भारतीय क्रिकेट के लिए बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि 2 ICC चैंपियनशिप, 2 ICC ट्रॉफीज एंड ऑब्वियसली द इंडिया वर्सेस इंग्लैंड सीरीज. हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया को ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हराया है. If we are able to beat England in England, it will be a massive, massive achievement on the part of this team. So, Ravi, all the very best to you and the team, and wish you again a very happy birthday. We will decode Ravi Shastri. I've got a lot lined up for you, a lot of very interesting interviews lined up, a lot of clips lined up over the next half hour. But I will start with something very different. If you have seen my tweets, I have been saying this for the last 5-6 days, that the financial issue impacting Indian cricket and cricketers is gender neutral. There are some jerks who will continue to say otherwise. Let it be said. The fact is, this has nothing to do with a man or a woman. It has everything to do with a cricketer. And that is the truth. Finally, people are waking up to it. Better late than never. The point is, and today we read multiple stories. In fact, I quote tweeted a story from John's, which was talking about Akshay Wakhare. And there are many such cricketers who are facing the impact of the pandemic, the financial strife that he or she are under at this point in time. Man or woman, a first-class cricketer, not everyone plays for India. Not everyone plays the IPL. In fact, a minuscule percentage play for India or the IPL. And there is a huge cricketing ecosystem beneath that. And that is the ecosystem we are talking about. Everyone who is part of that ecosystem, man, woman, age group, young, old, they are getting impacted by this pandemic. And, you know, if you read that story, very, very sort of, how do I put it, disturbing story. 150 pounds they are getting in the United Kingdom, so people want to leave now. Some who did not go at that point in time, feeling the pressures, no Ranji trophy, so it is hurting their basic livelihoods, and that is the only income that they have. The Ranji trophy income is primarily the income that they have. And this year, at least, there was the Vijay Hazare and Mushtaq Ali trophy. So after almost a year, Indian domestic cricket started. So you can understand the impact that the first class ecosystem is facing. And that was my point. That was always my point, that at no time did one say that the women cricketers who are due their prize money should not get it. 200% they can, or they should, and they will. If they don't, they have to be paid. But that is not where the story ends. Today, even without that prize money, the top 15 will perhaps continue to play the game. But if they do not take care of the first class structure, and that's what my fear is, that is what these stories are talking about, we will lose players, man, women, woman, as part of the cricketing ecosystem, because it is impossible to sort of, you know, when your livelihood is at stake, it is a very difficult challenge. It's a very, very difficult challenge. That is why this is a gender neutral problem. I urge the BCCI, request, urge, plea, do what you want. Please discuss this at the SGM. I am aware that you can possibly not, I mean, if there is an agenda at the SGM, this is not an AGM that you can flip it around. But from Jay Shah's notice on the 18th of May, it says that based on the, you know, the notice reads from memory that given the pandemic situation, the structure of cricket, given the pandemic situation, we can, you know, what will happen to our cricket. So if you actually read between the lines, there is a possibility on the part of the BCCI to discuss the compensation issue, to discuss what they need to do about this financial strife that these players are under, and how they can address this. And it is a plea, please do it. You have to do it, because this is the structure that eventually props up Indian cricket. First class cricketers are the funnel, are the supply line to Ranji Trophy. Ranji Trophy is the supply line to the national team. For women, the domestic structure is the supply line to finally the national team. That's how it happens. We do not want to lose even one cricketer because of the financial strife. And some idiots were asking me, what am I doing? I'm raising the voice. I'm not supposed to go and pay them the money. That's not my job. My job is to put this on the table, that please, this has to be done. And I've been saying this for the last 6 days, and I will continue to say it, whether anyone agrees or not agree. I don't care. Frankly, I don't care. I will raise this. And I'm delighted. Several people today are raising the same question, that this is gender neutral. It goes down right to the lowest common denominator. All of these people, cricketers, budding cricketers, aspiring cricketers, need to be protected. So we really urge the BCCI, please discuss this as part of the SGM and take steps. I am told that compensation was agreed upon in the last AGM, but there is no formula. Whatever the formula is, if the formula is, okay, we will not be able to pay match fee, we will pay only that portion of the money which accrues to the players who are not part of the first 11, do that. But do something immediately. Because once the pandemic passes and once domestic cricket resumes, Ranji Trophy resumes, domestic cricket resumes, this financial strife will not be felt. But by then, serious damage can be caused, or can be done, or would be done. We might lose cricketers. We might lose men and women. If their families are impacted by COVID, they need this money for treatment. If they are impacted, they need this money for treatment. If they get injured, as many people were telling me, physios are costly. So because of all of this, the whole point is BCCI really needs to act now. And not for only one category, the elite Indian men or the elite Indian women, but for every category of cricketers. Because as the nodal body for the sport, as a federation that controls the sport, every cricketer or every person part of the ecosystem, and that includes support staff, by the way, not simply cricketers, umpires, scorers, support staff, groundsmen, the whole cricketing ecosystem at this point in time needs to be protected. That is the story. If governments are contemplating putting, kind of welfare measures, putting money in people's bank accounts, so can we in terms of our sporting system. And frankly, as a 16-year-old or a 19-year-old, that little money makes a huge difference to the family and for livelihoods. That was a point I absolutely had to make at the start of the show. And trust me, I will keep saying this. This is gender neutral. It is about the whole cricketing ecosystem. Man, woman, doesn't matter. Everyone needs to be taken care of. Moving on to Ravi Shastri. Let me see if there are any questions, and I will take those first. Okay. Ravi. Okay, good. Mostly Ravi Shastri. Okay, there's some question saying the spokesperson or whatever. Some person. Who is this joker? Let me just check. Anyway, can't see it anymore. There are several questions on Ravi Shastri. I will take. I will sort of take all of the questions on Ravi that I'm getting. Should MS become the future coach of India? Interesting thought. Very interesting thought. Let's go to Ravi. Ashish, I know Trisha was attending the International Olympic Committee briefing because I had to come and do the show. So can I get the first clip, please?
Honestly, this Indian team, this team is so blessed to have the support staff that they have. If they spend just 10-15 minutes with Ravi Shastri every sort of, after a practice session, Ravi has got the ability to give so much confidence to the youngsters. It's unbelievable. I mean, if he believes in their talent, if he believes in their ability, if he believes in their talent, there is no better man than Ravi Shastri to give that encouragement to a youngster. He will scold you, he will tell you off, but at the same time, he will tell you the things that you can do to get better, and himself, will actually demonstrate to you.
So that is the foremost point. What Sunil Gavaskar was just talking about was the foremost point. Ravi Shastri and youngsters. If you actually see, and I've seen sort of Ravi Shastri very, very closely for about 2.5, 3 decades, and last several years as coach, the ability to communicate, and this doesn't only is restricted to the current lot. Go and ask somebody like a Tendulkar. 2012, when Sachin at that point in time, before the England during the England series, wasn't able to sort of bat like the way he wanted, his mind was mired with negative thoughts. It was Ravi Shastri who took Sachin out, sort of had a wholehearted, a candid conversation with him, clarified all his doubts. That has always been a strength of Ravi. Always. Ask a Shubman Gill, ask a Shardul Thakur, ask a Mohammad Siraj. The way Ravi Shastri, and I will tell you a backstory. Somebody actually tweeted saying, I've forgotten the name. Somebody tweeted saying, give us a backstory. I'll give you the backstory. मोहम्मद सिराज के साथ क्या हुआ था आप लोगों को बता देते हैं. मोहम्मद सिराज, उनका पिताजी का देहांत हो गया जब भारतीय टीम ऑस्ट्रेलिया में था, हार्ड क्वारंटीन में था. तो मोहम्मद सिराज के रूम में कोई भारतीय क्रिकेटर या कोचिंग स्टाफ को जाने का परमिशन नहीं था, क्योंकि वी वर इन हार्ड क्वारंटीन. क्या हुआ, नेक्स्ट डे जब भारत प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए गया तो रवि शास्त्री ने उनसे कहा, एंड आई हैव इट कोरॉबोरेटेड बाय द वे, रवि शास्त्री ने उनसे कहा कि आपका पिताजी ऊपर से देखेंगे और यही सीरीज में आप 5 विकेट लोगे. Now, obviously, at that point in time, नवंबर में रवि शास्त्री ने भी सोचा नहीं होगा कि सिराज को टेस्ट सीरीज खेलने का मौका मिलेगा, क्योंकि हमारे पास जसप्रीत था, हमारे पास मोहम्मद शमी थे, हमारे पास उमेश यादव थे. बट उन्होंने मोहम्मद सिराज से ये बात कहा था कि आपके पिताजी ऊपर से आपको ब्लेस कर रहे होंगे और आपको इसी सीरीज में 5 विकेट आप लोगे, और and the point that he made was, you will make your father proud, कि आप इस सीरीज में 5 विकेट लोगे और आपके पिताजी ऊपर से वो देख के बहुत खुश होंगे. Bharat Arun tells me that one statement completely changed Mohammad Siraj. Completely changed Mohammad Siraj. और उसके बाद मोहम्मद सिराज ने क्या कमाल दिखाया ये तो सबको पता है. This is the ability of the man. The good part about Ravi Shastri is that he will stand up for the youngsters, give the youngsters confidence, be it a Siraj, a Shardul, a Washington, a Shubman, or anybody. That is a good part that I wanted to highlight at the start. Ashish, can I have the second clip, please?
Ravi Shastri called me in June, sometime in June, July. And we normally tend to discuss about how we need to go forward and what are the things that we need to do to improve. And then he told me, I want you to make a plan where you remove the offside for the Australians. So we had our own arguments even then, but he said, please do that. Whether you agree or disagree, I want you to make a plan where you take the offside out of the Australians. And whenever Ravi Shastri observes, he's a very, I think he's got a very keen eye for observing things. Him having played the game, also been in commentary for so long, he picks up things pretty fast.
Okay, so Bharat's point that Bharat was making, let's go deeper. This is about the planning that Ravi Shastri is sort of, now the Indian team is doing in extensive detail. The real story is it started during lockdown. It started during lockdown when Ravi called Bharat. And they started putting this plan together for Steve Smith. So frankly, the Australia series was to be played in November, December. The planning had started in April, May, when the country was facing a national lockdown. Nobody really knew what will happen to the world post-COVID or during COVID. Will sport resume? Nobody had any idea. At that point in time, Ravi and Bharat started this, and Bharat actually did not agree that what do you mean take the offside out? He did not agree. He said, in conventional test match parlance, in conventional test match wisdom, you have to bowl outside the off stump when the batsman comes out to bat at least the first few overs, first few balls, take the edge, slip. We have a great bowling attack. That is when Ravi insisted that you go and check the stats. You go and check his wagon wheels. You have to try and figure out where did Steve Smith get maximum runs when he bats in Australia. That's how the plan was born. The plan was born in this manner. Bharat goes, gets all of the statistics, and you know what he sees? He actually sees that a huge amount of the runs was there. What Ravi Shastri was saying, get the offside out of the equation. That's when the leg trap was born to Steve Smith, that you pack the leg side, you ask your bowlers to bowl there, stifle him there, make him score for his runs, and you try and get him out. He's a great batsman. If he gets going, fine, but you at least try. उनका जो ये प्लॉय था, ये ऐसे ही बॉर्न हुआ था कि स्टीव स्मिथ को ऑफ साइड में रन मत दो, उसको लेग साइड में खिलाओ, क्योंकि अगर हम स्टैटिस्टिक्स देखें तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हिस्टोरिकली स्टीवन स्मिथ ने बहुत ज्यादा रन ऑफ साइड में बनाए हैं, इसीलिए हमको लेग साइड में पूरा फील्डिंग पैक करके वहां डालना चाहिए और बॉलर्स को वैसे ही सिखाना चाहिए या बोलना चाहिए कि वहां डालो, सो दैट स्टीव स्मिथ को हम स्टाइफल कर सकते हैं, उनका पेशेंस पे हम प्ले कर सकते हैं, एंड एज अ रिजल्ट वी कैन हैव इम्पैक्ट. Ashish, can I have, by the way, I've got a lot of clips for you. I've got a lot of clips, so I will talk about Ravi and give you the backstories, but also need to play the clips. And these are some of Ravi's best interviews over a period of time. Ashish, can I have the third clip, please?
First of all, he's different. His action is different. It's something that can't be coached. Bigger job for the coach is not to change that action and make him excel at what he's doing, make him believe that what he's doing is right, and I had it in my mind that this guy could be dangerous in test match cricket because it's an unusual action. He'll bring in a lot of variety to the attack, and when you have other fast bowlers like Shami and Ishant and Umesh Bhuvi around, there's variety. And this guy brings more variety than anybody else because it's absolutely, he has no run up. He walks to the crease, 2 steps, and then the ball comes out at 140 plus K. It's going to trouble any batsman. So that difference, in his action was what prompted me to think, try this guy out. And he was going to play the first test. In fact, we told him in November, you will play the first test in South Africa. So if the media thought that because someone got injured, he played, no. He was playing that first test in Cape Town. And that was in my mind 2 months ago.
So you heard him. You heard him about Jasprit Bumrah. Now today, Jasprit Bumrah is one of the best bowlers in test match cricket in the world. Did you see what he was talking about? That planning is what I'm repeatedly stressing on. And today, the Indian team has a bowling attack which is capable of winning you test matches overseas and on Indian soil. Ravi Shastri ने अभी कहा उसी इंटरव्यू में कि 2 महीने पहले उन्होंने डिसाइड कर लिया था कि जसप्रीत बुमराह साउथ अफ्रीका में पहला टेस्ट मैच खेलेंगे, केप टाउन में खेलेंगे. और अगर आप जाके विराट से बात करें, विराट बार बार ये कहते हैं कि उन्होंने साउथ अफ्रीका के बहुत सारे बैट्समैन से बात किया, एबी डिविलियर्स से बात किया, बॉल आके ऐसे हिट करता है जसप्रीत बुमराह का जो डिलीवरी होता है. एज अ रिजल्ट जो वो डिसेप्टिव है, जितना जोर आपको लगता है कि उतना पेस से नहीं डाल रहे हैं, उतना पेस से बॉल आता है, बॉल बैट में आके हिट करता है. ऑब्वियसली उनका एक्शन तो हम जानते हैं. And since then, he has become an asset for the Indian team. और जब वो आए थे, तो there was a lot of doubt कि अरे वो कैसे डाल सकते हैं, वो कैसे डालेंगे, awkward action है, शायद ऐसे नहीं डाल पाएंगे, टेस्ट मैच क्रिकेट के लिए सही नहीं है, ये कैसे खेलेंगे, एटसेट्रा. ऐसे बहुत सवाल उठा था अबाउट जसप्रीत बुमराह, एंड देयर यू हर्ड द मैन. एंड दैट इज व्हाई व्हेन वी आर on Ravi's birthday, when we are decoding this team, you heard Sunil Gavaskar. So the way this show is going, you heard Sunil Gavaskar talking about Ravi Shastri and youngsters. You heard Bharat Arun about planning. You heard Ravi himself about the Jasprit Bumrah plan. So you can clearly see that what we are talking about as part of this tenure is a vision crystallizing. And that is the vision that will perhaps help India come Southampton 3 weeks down the line. Ashish, can I have clip number 4, please?
serious. I mean, he leads from the front. He's a tough guy, in the mind. And that makes a huge difference because it spreads amongst his teammates as well. And we knew even after losing 2 test matches that we weren't far behind. People might say anything, people might write anything, people might want to say what they want, but we give 2 hoots. We are focused on our job. And when you went down sessions, 11 was playing 9. 11 sessions to South Africa, 9 to India after 2 test matches. So you knew you were in with a chance. 2 poor sessions cost us 2 test matches. So all we said is if we can have 2 really good sessions, we could probably win that last test match. And the good thing was we went into that last test match thinking only winning, no draw. And when we saw the track, which was like a nice Persian carpet, we said we'll bat first.
Yeah, can you tell me about that decision?
Because we said get runs on the board. And, when we all had a chat, the team management, including the captain, there were cracks on day 1. So we said, come day 4, even to get 140, 150 on that track will not be easy. So you take that gamble of batting first, being hard with yourselves in the first 3 hours of play, where you need to be tight and disciplined. And if you can get some runs on the board, even in any score in excess of 175, 180, you can say you've got the runs on the board and then put pressure on the opposition. And that's exactly what happened.
So that was the interview that was done after the South Africa series when India won that famous test match, the 3rd test match. And that's the whole deal, that you bat first. It has started with Saurav Ganguly 2002, Headingley, bat first. 2 spinners, bat first. And that famous story, Ian Botham says, are you sure? And that same thing applied with Ravi in South Africa. Bat first. Get the runs on the board, you exploit. And he was talking about Virat, the leader. The partnership between Ravi and Virat, the pairing between Ravi and Virat absolutely has taken Indian cricket to a better pedestal. The partnership between Ravi and Ajinkya in Australia helped Indian cricket. The partnership between Ravi and Rohit. Ravi is equally close to all. And that helps the sport. Because when your head coach is close to all of the people, the leadership group in the team, and there is mutual respect, obviously भारतीय क्रिकेट को ही बेनिफिट आएगा, भारतीय क्रिकेट को ही इसका फायदा आएगा. रवि शास्त्री रोहित शर्मा के साथ, अगर आप देखें मेलबर्न में जब रोहित शर्मा होटल में पहुंचे तो पहला पर्सन जो ग्रीट किया था उन्हें वाज रवि शास्त्री. विराट कोहली के साथ रवि शास्त्री का जो बॉन्डिंग है वो भारतीय क्रिकेट को हेल्प करता है. He was talking about Virat, the leader, that he leads from the front. देखिए इस लेवल पे विराट कोहली, रोहित शर्मा, चेतेश्वर पुजारा, अजिंक्य रहाणे, इनको तो आप बैटिंग नहीं सिखाओगे. ये तो एब्सोल्युटली आप बैटिंग नहीं सिखाओगे. इनको आप, the whole deal is about taking the hard call, taking the real call. Say in Australia, हमने बहुत इतना बात किया था, हमने सबने कहा था कि शायद केएल राहुल को खिला देना चाहिए सेकंड टेस्ट मैच में क्योंकि विराट वापस आ रहा है, बैटिंग को बॉलस्टर करना चाहिए. रवि शास्त्री और भारतीय मैनेजमेंट ने रविंद्र जाडेजा को खिलाया. सो वी एक्चुअली ऑप्टेड फॉर एन ऑलराउंडर. बिग कॉल. And that is what worked for India in that test. If you think, अगर आप सोचें, रविंद्र जाडेजा ने स्टेलर परफॉर्मेंस करके दिखाया जो भारतीय टीम को उस मैच जीतने के लिए बहुत हेल्प किया. ऋषभ पंत वाला कॉल should have been taken earlier maybe, but India persisted with ऋषभ पंत from test number 2. हमने सबने कहा था रिद्धिमान साहा को चांस मिलना चाहिए पहला टेस्ट में, but in hindsight आप सोच सकते हो that what impact ऋषभ पंत had, and since then ऋषभ पंत has just taken the bar up and up and up. So that is the contribution. अगर आप देखें, so the way you saw it, youngsters, Sunil Gavaskar was talking about, planning, Bharat Arun was talking about, Jasprit Bumrah, उनका mindset आपको समझ में आ गया होगा. Virat as leader, and to take the hard call and the strong call, bat first, even if it is a green wicket in any part of the world, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, England. So that is the kind of mindset that he was under. My favorite clip. This interview was done after India had beaten Australia in Australia. So yeah, आप देखें, I'm coming back after the interview with the last part of the show, and I'll obviously take the questions. Ashish, the final clip, please.
One question to you. I mean, we were watching this test match with Alan Border, Steve Waugh, a lot of the others, and everybody kept asking me, do you actually think the Indians will drop the two openers in the middle of a series in Melbourne? They would do that? I mean, that was a question asked of the world. I mean, friends asked me, you'll drop two openers, got a rookie in Mayank Agarwal and he delivered. Must have been a huge call.
Massive. It was a gutsy call, by the team management. The skipper was on our page as well. And we said, see, we've struggled with the opening batsman for 11 months. What difference will it make? It'll be the same old thing if these two also fail again. It's not that the others had set the world on fire. So you had to take a pot shot there. You had to take a chance. The series was 1-1. So it was a massive moment. He said, well, if you can you just try and think if those two play the first hour, the confidence it will give those two youngsters, apart from then Pujara and Kohli coming out to bat later.
So मैं यही कह रहा था आप लोगों से कि ये जो कॉल था कि बॉक्सिंग डे टेस्ट बिग सीरीज हार्ड कॉल ले लिया आपने विद मयंक विद हनुमा, आपने इस बार लिया विद शुभमन. दिस इज व्हाट विल मेक अ डिफरेंस टू दिस टीम कम साउथहैम्पटन एंड द इंग्लैंड सीरीज. सो ये जो टीम अभी टीम बन गया है, मुट्ठी इन द लगान स्टाइल, ये बन चुका है. और ये जो टीम अभी हमारे पास है, ये टीम वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप और आईसीसी ट्रॉफीज जीत सकता है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई थिंक we needed to celebrate Ravi on his birthday, and I played multiple clips. I could have played a lot more, but obviously in a half an hour show you can do up to a point. And let me take the questions. Plenty of questions. Will IPL, I mean, obviously IPL I've said will be played. There's every reason to believe it will be played. MS Dhoni become future coach, who knows? IPL, again, you've asked the same question. What happens if WTC is tied? Good one. I honestly don't have the answer to that. That's a really good one. But I don't think that'll happen. Okay. Happy birthday, Ravi Bhai. Absolutely happy birthday. Please bring Ravi on your show. We will. Ravi, as I said, I mean, Ravi is a very good friend. We've done many shows together. So if India does win the WTC final, definitely get Ravi on the show. Don't worry. WTC final test series, so many games, one after another, fatigue and injured. Obunindra Mondal, good question. But that's the whole, sort of deal with modern day international sport. Think about EPL. People keep playing. The players haven't played because of the pandemic for a while. Everyone's looking forward to it. And frankly, I don't think that's why a 25-member squad, because the kind of bowling lineup India has, I don't think the same bowlers will play. They will rotate, and each one is now good to play test cricket. So there will be enough rest in between as well. Okay. So agree with you on fee. Well said. Thank you. When will KL Rahul join the bubble? Good question. But KL Rahul is definitely going to England. That's a fact. Can Indian football team qualify? No. World Cup 2022? No, Pavan. I don't think we can qualify for World Cup 22. No chance. What we can think of is the next one, because the numbers will go up. The number of participating teams will also go up. Shastri be replaced in the upcoming coach selection for what? His tenure will come to an end, and if he wants to move on, that's a different matter. But suppose, I mean, he's taken India to the world's top position. India has been winning the test match mace. If they win they've beaten Australia, full strength Australia with a half-baked India, half the players injured, you still won. You've beaten England at home. You're the number one test side in the world. What do you mean replaced? For what? Umpires for the WTC final. We'll check and tell you. These are statistical questions. I'll check and tell you. Indian batsmen should avoid fishing outside off stump, playing the ball late. Yeah, Ramnarayan, you're right. But obviously, there's better quality bowling there. There's hugely sort of impressive bowling lineup, both New Zealand and England. And yes, where I totally agree with you. It'll be about the batting. Because if India bats well, we do have the bowling attack to win against any team in any part of the world. And I'm sure the Indians will want to do it. Aditya Purohit, BCCI allow the players not centrally contracted to play in foreign leagues. Good question. But then, this is something that This is an interesting question, an interesting thought. So you're not, firstly, no one's employed by the BCCI, because if you actually see players have other employments also. Someone's employed with India Cement, someone with Railways, someone with another company. But why not? This is a good question. Indian players have not played in the Big Bash League or the 100 or whatever. Women are playing the 100. Women will play the WBBL, but men haven't been allowed to because of the IPL. Will it change in the future? We've got to wait and see. Does delay in future, general delay for past years too? 2018-19, from what I know, the GRS hasn't been paid, and that is why I keep saying this has to be done. Dhruv Jha, no question, big fan. Thank you very much. Appreciate. Happy birthday, Ravi Shastri, Vikas Phanse. Thank you. We will pass it on. Mayank Agarwal, better than Shubman Gill. No better, worse. These are very subjective, qualitative points. Dinesh Meena. At this point in time, Shubman, the way he batted in Australia, he has sort of earned that position for himself. And obviously, it's a long tour. Mayank has done very well in the past, but Shubman deserves his chances as well. Ravi, an absolute legend, Aditya Purohit, but after Dhoni's exit, Kulcha have failed to perform. They are bowling much faster. Shouldn't Ravi think about this? They are thinking. That's why Kuldeep Yadav is not in the team. I mean, if you do not perform, this is a performance-oriented sport. They are thinking, for sure they are thinking. And that is definitely a question that needs proper planning. WTC final, draw hone par kya hoga? Now they're trying to extend it to 6 days. So let's see what happens. Cyclone affecting Boria. Today was torrential rain all afternoon. Thankfully, the rain at the moment has stopped from what I see, but it was torrential rain. Yes, Amitabh Mukherjee is absolutely right. Heavy rains in Kolkata. I'm from Sweden, Salman Butt. PCB ignore him. I have no idea about Salman Butt and why PCB ignored him. Please ask the PCB. Give encouragement to Ashwin when he was dropped in 2014. And Ravi Shastri has always done that. And that's what I emphasized as part of the thing. अविनाश तिवारी, रवि शास्त्री पिया करियर ना जान के ना कमेंट मत किया करो, ना जान के कमेंट मत किया करो, ये बहुत गलत है, बहुत गलत है. आप परफॉर्मेंस देखो ना, आपने पर्सनल लाइफ में रवि शास्त्री क्या कर रहा है, आपको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? भारतीय क्रिकेट टीम अच्छा खेल रहा है ना, शांत हो जाओ, खत्म बात. आप प्राइवेट लाइफ में क्या कर रहे हो, मैं जाकर देख रहा हूँ क्या? तो आप क्यों फालतू का बकवास कर रहे हो? रवि शास्त्री का एक काम है, वो भारतीय क्रिकेट टीम को कोचिंग कराना है. भारतीय क्रिकेट टीम कैसे परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं उनके अंडर में, ये हमारा रिमिट और जूरिसडिक्शन है देखना. हम लोग सब मिलके उनको यहाँ पे इवेल्युएट करेंगे. अगर वो वहां पे अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं तो आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है अविनाश तिवारी जी? What will the future of Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli combo depend on England tour? It will, see, I think they have it will definitely depend, but it's not as if, okay, equal to if you do not win the World Test Championship or the England tour, you're out. It also has, we have to see the WTC, we have to see how the England tour transpires. If it's 5-0, then obviously questions will be asked. It's a performance oriented sport, whether it's Virat Kohli or Ravi Shastri, no one will have to, everyone will have to face the music. Simple as that. If India loses 5-0, will they be retained? Maybe not. But the question, why are we asking these conjectural questions? At the moment, the Indian team has the ability to win the WTC, to win the England Test Champions Tour, and the World Cup on Indian soil. So, and we have seen enough. We have actually seen enough to believe that they have the potential to win. Kuldeep, I rate Gary Kirsten because Gary won India ICC trophy. Yeah, the point is WTC is also वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप आईसीसी के अंडर ही हो रहा है, और ये पहला टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप में ऑस्ट्रेलिया को ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हराए हैं भाई, दो बार हराए हैं, 18 में हराए हैं, 20 में हराए. आप कुछ भी सोच सकते हो, बट अकॉर्डिंग टू मी this Indian team is one of the best that I've seen or heard. And Gary Kirsten 2011 was fabulous. So whether you rate or I rate doesn't really matter. All I want is India to go and win the WTC or the England series and others. India playing 11. I'm from Mahalaya. Playing 11, according to me, the playing 11 is Shubman Gill, Rohit Sharma, Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant, Ravindra Jadeja, Ravichandran Ashwin, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, and the 11th spot is a toss-up between Ishant Sharma and Mohammad Siraj. फेवरेट बैट्समैन प्रेजेंट इंडियन टीम, भाई वैसे फेवरेट तो नहीं होता है. विराट बहुत पसंद है, रोहित बहुत पसंद है, ऋषभ बहुत पसंद है. ऑल ऑफ दीज पीपल आर वेरी वेरी गुड प्लेयर्स and each of them are quality. Few words on Nitish Rana. I think Nitish should go to Sri Lanka. Definitely Nitish should go to Sri Lanka. He has done well for the Kolkata Knight Riders. Definitely should be part of the Sri Lankan team, the Indian team that travels there. Okay. Jaddu Ashwin. सर हार्दिक पांड्या वर्सेस जाडेजा, हार्दिक पांड्या अगर बॉलिंग नहीं करते हैं तो रविंद्र जाडेजा, आई मीन हार्दिक पांड्या टेस्ट मैच के लिए प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वी नीड एन ऑलराउंडर एंड रविंद्र जाडेजा हैज डन फैंटास्टिकली वेल. Okay, I've taken enough. Again, it's a pretty long show. So once again, wishing Ravi Shastri all the very, very best for his birthday. Happy birthday, healthy birthday. And as we saw from the clips, it's been a fantastic journey. Started with that one test match win in South Africa, Australia, that blip in England, the blip in New Zealand, coming back again, beating Australia and Australia, fantastic. Beating England on home soil, now the climax. Can we do it? Think we can, because if we do, that will be the best gift, Ravi, to yourself and to the country. Once again, mate, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you very much for watching and keep supporting Sports Today.